Welcome to this cricketing masterclass. I'm with Simon Doull, former New Zealand bowler, and we're going to be talking about the art of bowling the slower ball and the use of pace variations in one-day cricket, which, Simon, are absolutely essential.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the art of trying to deceive the batsman, trying to pick up wickets, get them to chip the ball in the air, maybe play too early and get through and bring the LBW and the bold into play. I mean, they're so crucial, and there's such great exponents of it in the modern day. So much more than, I think, in our time, Athers. And, you know, when you look at some of the best around the world, you just admire and do nothing but admire what they do.
Well, let's have a look at some of the best around the world. Who's good right now?
Oh, look, I mean, we just picked out 3 examples of the different types of slower balls here. The first one from Jasprit Bumrah, that's the general off-spinner, the one that comes back into the right-hander, maybe deceives him, goes across the left-hander. James Neesham's got one that rolls out like a leg cutter, like a little leg break, who rolls the fingers down the left-hand side of the ball. And then the knuckleball, which has really come into play in the last probably 2-3 years. That was Jofra Archer's knuckleball. And if we just take a look at how they're bowled, I think that's the key. So with Bumrah's one, all he's doing is either you can drop the thumb onto the side of the ball and just roll the wrist, and that takes a lot of the pace off it by taking the thumb away from the ball. You can drop it into that sort of position there and then just roll the wrist like you're opening a door. Imagine just opening a door handle. That's the key to that one there. You can leave the thumb on it, which Bumrah does, but it's all about the arm speed as well. That's one of the keys. James Neesham, if you look at his one, all he's doing is rolling his fingers down that side of the ball. So the left-hand side of the ball, almost like a leg break. And if you've not got forward motion, you've got sideways motion, then it just floats out a little bit slower. The knuckleball is one that I'm not sure I could have bowled, but that's kind of the principle of it. The key to the knuckleball, though, is getting it back into the fingers as you're running in. And I find that I've tried to do it in my lounge room, in my hotel room, and get it right. But a lot of guys are actually forcing it in.
What about
with
the one
other hand
flipped out of the back of the hand?
There are other variations. Yeah, I could bowl that one because I used to sort of practice a little bit of leg spin. So that one would be you come into this position and then it comes out there. So it comes at the top. It comes out there and it sort of floats and bounces a lot more. Ian Harvey played a lot of county cricket, didn't he? He was a perfectionist at that. I mean, there's 1 or 2 others. The other one that I've sort of seen on the odd occasion is get right back deep in the hand and then just drop the hand down behind the ball instead of that forward momentum, you get into there and you're just dropping the hand straight down behind it. It just floats out.
Could be out. The short ball from Mustafizur Rahman. This is where he's so good. Not an obvious slow bouncer. This was just about 130. There again, taking the pace off.
One of the best exponents of the slower ball in the modern game is Mustafizur Rahman. What makes him so good?
I think he's so similar to Muralidharan as far as the wrist is concerned, yet he's the quick bowler. So if we take a look at Mustafizur and what he's able to do with his wrist, and what I love about this, when you look at the action, it is exactly the same. We roll this through. Just have a look at what we've done here with this graphic. The red on the top, the yellow on the bottom. Top one, same, exactly the same as the bottom one. Full pace delivery, just a little cutter across, which is what he bowls in general terms anyway. But then you look at the bottom one as we roll that through, the wrist gets so far into almost like a spinner's direction, and it floats out, and he has deceived so many batsmen over the years. Now, it's not quite as good as it once was, because when he was bowling at 140 and dropping it to 115, it was really good, but he's actually got a little bit of that back after the shoulder operation.
The key is the arm speed, minimal change of action.
Very little change in action with the fizz, and the arm speed is massive, and because he gets that wrist into such an awkward position, he's able to get drop and a little bit of purchase.
Well, let's have a look at some of his success in one-day cricket. If we look at some of his pitch maps here, the huge variety of lengths, he likes to keep them back, but the batsman guessing, and he bowls so many slow balls. 57% of his wickets in ICC tournaments in the last 5 years have come from the slower ball, and the key is that he doesn't want the batsman set and knowing where he's going to bowl. He likes to keep them guessing.
And the other thing, we talk about the short pitch or the slower ball bouncer. It's not really a slower ball bouncer, it's just a short pitch slower ball. It sits in the pitch. It's one of the hardest ones to get away, and the bowlers are going to that in general terms on the big ground sideways. So when you've got a short boundary straight, you go to that slower ball that's bowled into the surface and you just bring in the big boundary, and there's no pace. There's just no pace to hit from whatsoever. Key, as you said, arm speed. That's the biggest thing about the slower ball.
Steve Waugh was one of the first that I remember bowling slower balls in one-day cricket, but these days every bowler has to have not just one slower ball but a variety of slower balls, otherwise one-day cricket is very, very hard work. Absolutely essential.